Hey, Stephen here with Dining Behind the Mask, Restaurant 20, and of course, coping with COVID-19. Welcome back to the second episode. It's actually the first episode that I have a guest on with me, and I'm very proud to say that we have a great one, starting off big. So on the second episode, we're going to build off where we left off with Brazilian steakhouses, churrascarias. And it's pretty interesting. As I started to explain, in Brazil, where this concept started, there's obviously a lot more than there are here. And because of that, they have a wide range of, there's some that are more high end, and there's quite a dynamic range there. But when it came to the United States, it pretty much only came through as a fine dining concept. And so patrons pretty much had to be willing to go to the big city and shell out $60 to be a part of this experience. But there's a husband and wife team, a small business owner team, that has done something fantastic, and they've made a more accessible, more affordable Brazilian steakhouse here in Illinois called Brazil Express Churrasco Grill, located in Schaumburg. And what they've done is they've captured the same quality, the same homemade, fantastic, I consider it 6 out of 5 stars quality, but they've put it into a more accessible package. You don't have to go to downtown Chicago. You don't have to shell out $60. And they've really created a very special concept at the restaurant. So joining me today is Miss Anna Santos-Vitelo. And I would like to start with just giving me a brief overview before we get to the COVID stuff. Just go ahead and fire away and tell everybody a little bit about yourself and or your business here, and what your restaurant is all about.
Yes, so hi, Stefan. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm very happy to participate. And hi, everyone. So I'm Anna. And so we had this idea of creating a more affordable Brazilian restaurant, a Brazilian steakhouse, because we wanted to make Brazilian food more popular. So we want more people to be able to try the Brazilian cuisine. So our initial idea was to have the same quality, as many items as we could. Everything would be very fresh. And we would serve with the same quality, customer servers, quality food, everything that the other Brazilian steakhouses have. So we would like to offer basically the same, but for a more affordable price. And how can we do that? We don't cut on any food quality. So we pay a cheaper rent, because we are not in a prime location like the other Brazilian steakhouses. And that's, the beginning. So that's a way we can charge more affordable food. But still, people enjoy the environment. The restaurant is beautiful, it's cozy. And that's how everything started. So we've been in business for over 8 years now. And of course, because of the pandemic, it has affected us tremendously, but Brazil Express has been successful since the very beginning. So it was a good surprise for us because we were so afraid to start our own business, even though we jumped and we got it done and people came. They were very happy to have this option, So it was very nice.
That's awesome. I've been, as you know, a loyal guest since,
yes,
I think probably 2015, I think, because it was when I was still working at the school I used to work at. And I remember the first time I came, and I've seen a lot of people, that some of the staff, there's been the staff that have stayed there a very long time. Like I know you're pretty sure he's your head carver, Paulo.
Yes.
He's been there for a very long time. And so you guys have it set up. You and your husband Mario have it set up in a really efficient way, and I definitely want to capture that. Where he essentially he kind of comes in and he manages. He's kind of like co-owner / and he'll manage the floor, and then you you run a lot of the business stuff behind the scenes, correct?
Yes, that's correct. Well, that is because of the experience we got in Brazilian steakhouses, working in the big ones. But well, we've never been managers before, so this work that we do behind the scenes, Mario and I, it's very important. But also Mario like steps up and he's on the floor all the time. He's talking with guests and he's interacting with our employees, and they make a very good team. They're on top of things, and so it's been great. So I think it's like both of us, Mario and I together, we complete each other, and we both have our different holes in the business, but combined we do make a good team, and our employees are just like the best. So we have people that have been with us for a long time, since the beginning, like Paulo is this amazing guy. He has worked for many other Brazilian steakhouses, and he brought that experience, and it's like a family for us right now. So our employees are like our family. We have employees that have been with us since the very beginning when we opened.
Right. And that's really like one of the best things that you can possibly have, I believe.
Oh, yes.
And I'm just going to put this quote really quick from your website. Quote, "We want our guests to enjoy Brazilian cuisine more than just once in a while," end quote. And I just think that that's so powerful, because and that's not just about making it more accessible and affordable. It's also about, it's about the experience, and how I've always believed that, unlike some of the, I'll just say the bigger guys, or even the big guy in the Brazilian steakhouse US industry, you guys really go for the long-term guests. Like somebody comes there and it's like, oh, we're definitely coming back. We can't wait to come back, rather than shifting to more of a, and I support pretty much all the Brazilian steakhouses. It's a great concept, and it's a preservation of, it's a continuation of bringing that culture to the US. So I'm not, but I think that some of them have shifted to more of an upsell mentality, and how can we just keep adding to the experience, and it becomes fragmented. Whereas what you and Mario have always done since day one is, we're going to focus our menu. You listed off a lot of the things that you do to keep it the price down, but you focus the menu, you don't sacrifice on quality, and bring in people that are truly talented. And let me tell you, there is now 2 other Brazilian steakhouses that kind of are doing something similar. They don't really market it as the way you and Mario do, but essentially what they're doing is, and I won't say their names, they're smaller businesses, and they're in other states. I went to one in Indiana, one in Wisconsin, and it's kind of interesting because they don't, like I said, market it as, oh, we're going to bring, a more accessible, more affordable version of the experience. They market it as that they're, on the level of, the fine dining ones. But when you go there, you pay normally, more than what you and Mario charge, closer to the $50 mark. I was so disappointed with it. Not, mainly because it wasn't authentic. I'm kind of a stickler for, I want it to be authentic. If they have something that's, I want it to be at least Brazilian inspired, and they, I remember I went to one with my friend, and they almost started a fire in the grill. They weren't managing the grill correctly. And you could actually see it, and it literally flared up to like the ceiling of the restaurant. And they weren't being careful. One of the things that I think that this is sort of a Brazilian behind the scenes that a lot of the listeners will probably not know if you're not like very knowledgeable about the way the food is cooked. But one of the biggest things when you're doing, open flame rotisserie barbecue is, and you both do it so well, is when you have a small grill to work with, when you don't have that huge, grill that some of the big guys have, it's very important to be careful about meat placement. And you guys you guys nail that every time. It's excellent. Those other ones, you would literally be tasting something that should only have a sea salt seasoning, and it would have like pineapple flavor or like chicken marinade flavor on it, and it just kills the experience because they're not being careful with with the grill. They're not, properly training and or hiring the, people that can deliver that experience consistently. And with Brazilian food, a lot of it is doing more with less. And so there's not a lot of room for error. You have to keep the quality and the skill as high as possible. And I just feel that anytime I've gone to another restaurant, it's like, oh, okay, this looks like it might be a more, it always ends up being you pay more, but you don't get the experience I expect. And now that I've been spoiled with like what you both do, it's like it definitely, it's not enjoyable if it's not like the real thing. And that's really so important with this experience is doing it right. And I think that's absolutely incredible. And the other thing I really like about your restaurant that I want you to hit on a little bit here before we get into the other stuff is you run a very unique business, especially the way you promote on social media. You have your advertising, which is done very well, but you also have like even some of the recent stuff you put that is technically advertising the restaurant, it's still sending an inspirational message about the situation we're all in. And that was one of the inspirations for this podcast, to be honest with you, in the first place. And beyond that, you don't just brand your business. You use your business as a way to promote social causes, cultures, tolerance, self-improvement. I've seen a lot of you and Mario have had events hosted at your restaurant, and you've also sponsored events outside your restaurant as well. And I was fortunate enough to come to the Anita Mueller, the book signing.
Yes.
And that was about women empowerment. And I actually, as a teacher, the learning behavior specialist, found that very useful for personal growth curriculum. And you also have Today's Inspired Latina as well. And
yes.
I just wanted to kind of touch on that a little bit, just the social cause element to your business, which I think is so important.
Yes. So thank you for, you find our marketing interesting, because I do everything myself, because as you know, like to pay for other professionals, it's very expensive. So I try to do as much as I can, and I'm, learning, online and attending, classes and events. And so I'm always trying to improve, so I can do things myself. So yeah, I think nowadays, all companies, no matter small, medium, large, we need to have a social impact too. It's not only about a work, or making some money. No, you have this responsibility because you have a platform. And just like our social, our Facebook page or our Instagram page, or our email marketing, just our email marketing, I have over 4,000 people that registered, that gave us their emails. So I can reach a lot of people. So I try to advertise, of course, and let people know, about different promotions and things that are going on, but also this events, whenever we have a meeting, or when we are sponsoring someone, someone that is, talking about a good cause, it can be women empowerment, it can be helping young Latinas like the Today's Inspired Latina. It can be a book launch. It can be, helping students, with tuition, and just helping overall, and I think that's very important. I don't have like one cause only. So I like to promote and talk about different things. And as people approach me, since we are a family-owned business, and it's very easy to talk to us. Anyone can send us an email and offer us something, and I'll be happy, to discuss and see if we can, work together, because I think it's all about the partnerships. And I love to do this kind of thing, Stefan. It makes my day, when I'm able to promote a good cause. I feel that my company has another purpose other than, just, it's more than a living. We work for this for a living, but it's more than that. You understand?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, very, very, very well said. And that's something that I always have found very, very intriguing and important in distinguishing your business, not just, certainly among the churrascaria Brazilian steakhouse industry, but of the restaurant industry overall. I honestly can't, not just to say this here, but I honestly don't think that I've seen any other restaurant do like what you and Mario are doing here. It truly is something very special. And you have found a way to continuously add to what really, how you define Brazil Express as a business. And one of the ways that you guys have done this, which sort of this was pre-pandemic, but it sort of played into, because I remember I was contacting you about, and I was writing an editorial review of your restaurant, which we didn't get to finalize yet because everything happened. But
Yes.
You and Mario came up with this, you sort of fused two ideas together, and it fits one mindset to make Brazilian experience and Latin American culture more ubiquitous, more I guess
more popular.
more popular with everybody, and it even goes along with those causes. And this now, Brazil Express, there's two ways to enjoy it. It is now it used to be primarily dinner only, and it was the rodizio, which is the all-you-can-eat barbecue rotation that most people are familiar with Southern Brazilian food. But now you have the a la carte for lunch option, and that sort of has been more, I think that might be, correct me if I'm wrong, that might be something that you guys are looking at right now as far as before you can open your dining room. Because I know that you did some Mother's Day, Father's Day, you got some like catering options, which I'll have you talk about. But tell me a little bit about the a la carte option, certainly before what it will be when you reopen, or even what you plan to make it now, and how this a la carte option is going to give people even yet another way to accessibly experience Brazilian cuisine.
Yes. So I'm very excited about that. And we had started, before the pandemic, hit us. So we had dinner only, since the beginning. And I mean, it's the price point for lunch was like a little over $20. So we found that people thought it was a bit too more, too pricey for a lunchtime, maybe because of the area. So we decided to close for lunch and only have the rodizio for dinner. And then we really wanted to open for lunch. So we came up with the idea of having a la carte. That means it's not unlimited, so you have limited portions, just like any other regular restaurants, and it's going to be the same price point of any other restaurant. So it's very affordable. Still, we would have the same quality food, so the same prime sirloin that you eat for dinner, which is all you can eat. You would have a portion, but still a good portion. So it would be a good lunch for the lunchtime, which is going to be more affordable. So we have a simple menu, simple ingredients. As always in the Brazilian cuisine, we try to use the best quality ingredients, and everything is fresh and simple. So we have this menu where people can find all the Brazilian favorites, like the prime sirloin, the picanha, and fresh salads. We're going to have the desserts, the cheese bread, papaya cream. We still have the chimichurri. So we have all the favorites, but in the small portions. So we thought that would be perfect for lunch. And we now intend to have some tables outside too, that people can have a feeling of the summer, and we're going to have acai. Have you heard about it?
Yes,
The
I have
acai
heard
bowl.
it, yes.
Yeah, that's really delicious. Like, it's the super fruit, and besides delicious, it's very good for your health. So we want to have like this Brazilian special place, where you can find all the Brazilian favorites. So for people who are gourmets, you know, for people who are foodies, I think that's so awesome to have something like that in your neighborhood.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. If I ever move, I want to move on one of those houses that's like right when you turn right out of the outside of your restaurant. But no, and I think that's what's so great about this. I really want to capture and emphasize this is the a la carte sort of segued into a pandemic, because that would be really challenging to do the rodizio with, you know, what you know, but it kind of segued into a nice transition of something that you can do outside.
Mm-hmm.
But even when you do reopen, you know, the lunch experience now is something that none of the other guys are doing. And what's really cool, and it's not just, I want to make sure the listeners understand, this is not just like a fixed portion version of what you get for dinner. That's not
No.
what it is. There literally is
Mm-hmm.
different pairings, and there's
Yes.
things, while there are certain ingredients and dishes that are in common, like the picanha, prime, the prime part of the top sirloin, because it's so popular, it's presented in a different way and it's paired with different things than what you would find on the dinner menu.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that you also have some dishes that I was looking at that are completely unique to different, because what most people are familiar with is the Brazilian barbecue, the churrasco part, but this is different. This is taking a different approach to it, and that's really hard to find. And it's certainly from a Brazilian steakhouse. And I think that that's why it's so cool that back in 2012, you named your restaurant Brazil Express, because it's, to me, the title of your restaurant, the way I read that title, and there are certain people that I've told, like, because they see the word express and they think that it's like almost like a Chipotle, and I'm like, no, it's not Brazil Express like that. It's Brazil Express. You're gonna feel like you're in Brazil, the expressway. That's the way I read it.
But you know, also, Stefan, it's in the beginning. Listen, guys, we had no money at all. You know, I was a server. Mario was a server too, and he has been a carver. I've been a hostess. So we've been in the industry for a long time, right? So we learned a lot of stuff. But then, you know, we were never managers. We were never owners before. We just had some savings, and we had this crazy idea we want to have our own business. And we jumped in, you know. So we started the business, and we had no idea whatsoever about what we were doing. And we learned with our mistakes. So thank God we learned fast. So we were okay since the beginning. But we thought our business would be this tiny business, you know, that we would have a couple tables. So all of a sudden we were able to, and then we had the name already, okay? So then all of a sudden we could rent another store. So we have two stores combined, and we had this bigger restaurant that we can seat a little over 100 people. And all of a sudden we were a little bigger, you know, not big like the main Brazilian steakhouses, but we were bigger than what we thought we would be. And then we had a name already, and people didn't care about the name. They just came for the food, they came for the environment, they came for the service, and they kept on coming. And we were amazed, you know, because our idea was to reach as many people as possible, and that's what we did, you know. So we were really amazed with our accomplishment.
Right. Oh, I am so, like, proud for both of you of what you've accomplished and what you still continue to accomplish, and the high level of consistency, because I'm a very like an OCD attention to detail person, and it's like the same every time you go there. It just gets better and better. And so tell everybody right now. So right now what you have going on your website is just similar to what you did for Mother's Day. You have a Father's Day gift card sale, and then you also have a Father's Day catering menu.
Yes.
So talk to people a little bit about what they can do right now to enjoy this amazing food and support this great business.
Well, you know, so we have this, it's a simple catering menu. And I think, well, for Mother's Day, we had many orders. So people can just call. You're going to talk directly with Mario. It's 224-353-6315. And you can place your order for pickup. Or you can go to the website, brazilexpressgrill.com and make your order. So we have the ready-to-eat meals, and we have a package that you can bring home and you can do your own grilling. So people are enjoying, both ways. And to be honest with you, Stefan, this is something we want to continue to have, because we want to add more options for people. And especially now, with the pandemic, people, some people might be afraid to go out, so we still don't know how things will be. We intend to take all the precautions possible. But, if someone, wants to be at home and have, a meal at home, so we can offer some Brazilian meal, which is not very common. So people have that option too. So that is something very unique, what we're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually did it's kind of a confession. I celebrated Mother's Day, not in the traditional sense, because my mom and my dad are high risk. So we didn't, I went and visited them, like through the window and stuff, but they, I had to, I saw that you, actually the funny part of that, was I saw that you and Mario were doing the catering thing before I even realized that it was Mother's Day weekend. And I jumped on it as soon as, because at that point I was like, going crazy not having my Brazilian food. And I just ordered I just told my girlfriend, I said, hey, we need to try this, trust me. And I just ordered, and of course the food lasted us a week because it was a ton of food. But that being said, it was definitely, a very good value. And there was, there's like different options that you can choose, but it was sort of options. And then it was like almost like different templates of how do you want the meal? Do you want the meats? Do you want the meats with the sides, or do you want it like ready to eat or ready to grill? And I think that was really cool. How you could have it grilled professionally on the Rodizio grill, or you could have it, you can grill it yourself depending on what kind of celebration your guests are having.
Yes.
And one thing that I really enjoyed particularly, I always enjoy, and it's just as good every time, is the feijoada, the traditional black bean and sausage.
Yes, that is to die for. Yes.
Yeah. You have like the best feijoada. And what I like to do is, because I had it at home, like you have the rice, you have the stew itself, and then I think in Brazil sometimes they eat it with like a sautéed like a kale, correct?
Yes, so it can come with it. So when it's very complete, and we can do that as well, if people want. So it comes with the kale, it comes with oranges. So it's very, very full of meats. It's just delicious.
Yeah. And then you top it with the farofa, which is the toasted yuca, or sometimes called mandioca flour. And that's also, some people, some Americans, I always have people try it when I go to the Brazilian steakhouses with them. And some of them, it can be an acquired texture when you eat it I've been eating it for so long that I can just eat it by itself. But when you put it, you sprinkle it on top of that stew, it's amazing. And the oranges help with digestion. It's like, because it is like when you eat a big plate of farofa, it's like a heavier filling meal. And then you have the orange afterwards, and it kind of like lightens it up a little bit. And it's a fantastic.
It's a good combination. Yes.
Yeah, it really truly is. So with your restaurant, now it is at this point, I've kind of been hearing some restaurants are planning for July 1st as far as starting to open the dining room. But even like right now, there's not necessarily a standardized, like a lot of restaurants I talked to one restaurant that has a patio and they didn't even want to use it. Some restaurants are doing outdoor dining and they'll continue it, maybe not. Some have a patio and they're business as usual right away. Now you are working on an outdoor option, but one thing I can say is when you do reopen your dining room, I will say that this is like, you and Mario have like the cleanest, most sanitary restaurant. I mean, every time I go in there.
Thank you, Stefan.
It really is like not just the dining room and the salad bar, cold buffet, you can see the kitchen because it's not, it's clean. The bathrooms are always the cleanest bathrooms. Like it's just, everything is so well maintained that from a guest perspective, I can tell people that this is, they're gonna do it the right way. They're gonna do it safe.
Yes,
Um,
yes, we are very concerned, so we intend to have disposable gloves, for clients. We're going to do everything that is in our power, like to make sure everyone is healthy.
mhm. And what do you think about this is an interesting point for Brazilian steakhouses, because it's not something where aside from drinks, like, beverages and desserts, you don't order off a menu. It's Things are presented to you as if every table is a chef's table, is sometimes what that's called.
Mhm,
And, you can have staff wear masks. The guests ideally will also be wearing a mask.
mhm,
Gloves, especially anytime they're like getting a new plate, things like that.
exactly.
Good sanitation practices, which you both always do. But there's also another component to this that I believe will still be in effect, I'm pretty sure even when dining rooms reopen,
Mhm,
the ban on, I don't know if I think it's like a restriction on self-service.
mhm.
So are you prepared for any modifications to the salad bar? Because there could be a restriction on self-service where that might have to be something that's brought to the table or upon request, something of that sort. Have you thought about that at all?
Yeah, so we have different ideas. So we still haven't heard anything about our type of restaurant, but we intend, if we can continue the way we are right now, so we would have disposable gloves for the clients, so they could put on the gloves, serve
Mhm.
themselves, and then just throw the gloves away. So that would be a way that every time someone would touch the utensils would be with gloves. So in that way, you don't have to touch the same surfaces that other people are touching. So this is one idea. So the other idea is, if that one is not possible, then we would bring the items to the table. So that would be our second idea, but we would prefer that the customers would serve themselves with the gloves.
Right, right. Yeah, and it's very interesting because, I've a couple years ago, I was like really intensely interested in researching like the Brazilian steakhouses in Brazil, and you see some of the ones that are more like, I remember I saw a video of one of them where they didn't even have a salad bar. It was just the rodizio, but then they had like a card at the table where they asked people what sides they wanted, and
Mhm.
some of those items that you commonly find on salad bars at restaurants like yours were actually considered cold side dishes. Like they said, you want potato. I remember one, they didn't even have mashed potato. They had potato salad,
Mhm.
rice, black
Yes.
beans,
Mhm.
farofa. So that, in a sense, that's one thing, that's like one option where it could be
That could be an option too.
right, where it comes more of just like cold sides, stuff like
Uh-huh.
that.
Yeah, we still haven't heard anything against, what we do, but
Okay.
we will check, So we have, like, the health supervisors coming all the time, so I'm sure that they will come, and I
Right.
think they will guide us.
Hmm. Yep. Yeah. I'm very confident that they'll, because everything is you and Mario and your whole team execute everything so well. You have the magic combination of excellent ideas and inspiration and passion paired with excellent execution.
Oh,
And
thank you, Stefan. We try to adapt, so we are aware that things are changing, and we try to be ahead of it. So, and we've been learning along the way, so it's been kind of hard, to be this family-owned business. So you know how things are for small businesses, but
right, right.
we can complain, So our business has been our life, and we'll do anything possible that it continues to be, receiving people and serving people the way we've been for this, many years.
Right, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And certainly I can't wait to come out there. And do you have a date yet for when your outdoor dining is open?
Well, we're gonna wait until the order is lifted and we can, serve people inside. So it will probably
Okay,
be at 50% capacity.
50%. Okay.
Yes, and then we're gonna add a few tables outside, but
Oh,
outside
okay.
it's a little tricky, we cannot serve the meats outside.
Right.
But some meals we would be able to serve outside, but still it would be just a few tables. And
Right.
I think it's gonna be July 1st.
Okay, so you're kind of that's an interesting approach too that I'm glad we captured on here, that you're sort of combining the indoor dining reopening with the outside. So it's almost like guests feel like, because there are a lot of people, I have people in my family that are, okay, July 1st, that's arbitrary to them. They're like, I'm still not comfortable even with
Mm-hmm.
50% and all the precautions. As safe as it is, or as much effort as put into, they're not comfortable. Maybe they're high risk,
Yes.
health
Mm-hmm.
anxiety. That's totally understandable. But what you are doing is that's okay. We're launching, we have some tables outside too. We're launching that as an option. So
Yeah.
once again, it takes me back to, we're going to kind of end here on where we started, which is Brazil Express Churrasco Grill it literally is making Brazilian cuisine, the Brazilian dining experience, and the Brazilian culture more accessible for everybody.
Yes.
There really is. I say this in a loving way. Like, there's no excuse to not try this restaurant. To all my listeners here,
Oh, thank you.
got to go
Thank
and
you,
you've got to
Stefan.
get down there and try it. I mean, your dinner price is like what the big guys are charging for lunch. So it really is
Yes.
not, it's very affordable. I would say it's a steal for the quality and the consistency. As I keep saying, I'm all about consistency. And when you go there, you know that you're going to be taken care of. Those fine details. That's just that's what makes people come back. It's not just about great food. It's about that experience where you really feel like you're taken care of, and you have those regulars. And when I worked at, I worked at one of the Brazilian steakhouses for a period of time, and
Mm-hmm.
part time. And I would love to come to your restaurant, and I would, observe it from a whole different angle, and I would also come there sometimes with my coworkers, and I'd be like, oh, you got to try this because they haven't tried it. I'm like, you got to try this place. It's really incredible that, for where you're located and the size of your restaurant, you both have pulled off such an amazing experience. You have the traditional authentic charcoal rotisserie barbecue, and that's, a lot of them don't nowadays. They're using gas infrared just because of restrictions, or not even just restrictions, but cost. But you guys are doing it, the original way. I think in many ways you guys are the most authentic Brazilian steakhouse, not just the most affordable and accessible. So I really, really appreciate you, Anna, coming on the podcast and being our first guest.
Thank you, Stefan.
It's excellent. It really is excellent.
Yes.
I
Let me
encourage.
just,
Oh, go
I
ahead.
just want to add one more thing. Well, we know that, the chain restaurants, all the, big Brazilian steakhouses, they are awesome too. We never wanted to be like to compete with them. I know they have their guests, and our goal was always to reach like the biggest number of people possible. So we want to give this option. We don't want to compete with them. We know that they are fine dining. So what we have is like the same quality food and like the best service and like very authentic for a more affordable price. But we are not so fancy as they are, so we want people to come to our restaurant more often, not only for a birthday or anniversary. So people can come anytime they want because it's more affordable and it's not going to break the bank.
Absolutely right. And that's, somebody like me, I love this food so much. I'm so passionate about it that, almost any day I would rather go to a Brazilian steakhouse than an American steakhouse. But a lot of people have the mentality that, oh, well, it's only like for a, what did you just graduate or something? Because it's only for a big, and it's like, no. Go to Brazil Express,
Yes.
Brazil Express Grill. It's not, it doesn't have to be just once in a while. And I think that's an excellent
Yes,
excellent
exactly.
mantra. Yeah, it really truly is. So one more time before we close out, this is Brazil Express Churrasco Grill in Schaumburg, Illinois. You can give them a call for Father's Day, 224-353-6315. That's 224-353-6315. Or you can also email them at brazilexpressgrill.com. Or it's contact at brazilexpressgrill.com, and that'll go to you, right, Anna?
Yes, yes.
That'll
I'll get the
go to you.
emails. Mm-hmm.
Excellent, excellent. Well, this has been a fantastic episode and fantastic first guest. That would be
Thank you,
how would you say?
Stephanie.
How would you say that in Portuguese? Primeiro. How do you say guest?
Primeiro episódio.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you again so
It
much.
was fun. Thank you so much.
Yes, I'll have you. I'm going to say goodbye to you properly. For the rest of you, this has been the first episode with the guest, second episode of Dining Behind the Mask. Please share this. Please and thank you in advance. Share this on Facebook. It'll also be posted on YouTube. Share it on LinkedIn. This is great stuff. I think that a lot of people can benefit from, even if just getting the mindset of reopening and getting things going back to as normal as possible, and staying as present and as positive as possible. So
Yes.
This has been your host, Stephen, with guest Miss Anna Santos-Vitelo, Brazil Express Grill, signing off for episode 2. Thank you so much.
Yes.